Good morning, Reverend Robert Ugen Doshin Yamada here. Welcome to the Animal Liberation Temple, the Butsukaioji, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends. We'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the ancestral and seized land of the Yokuts, Karkin, Confederate villages of the Lisha, Ohlone, Miwok, and Miwokma people. We recognize them, the legacy of violence, settlement, displacement of these people who suffered and survived. Good morning, Martin, and good morning, Neil. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. And good morning, Jackie and Tani and April. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm acknowledging the right people, and sometimes the screen names I have to remember. We'll get started with the updates here at the temple. Everything seems to be going well. Um, Weather is okay. We had a little bit of rain and cloudiness, which caused us to have to use our generator, which is never good because of the amount of fuel that uses and cost involved in that. The temple's still in the same condition. We still need to finish putting the roof. But I'm happy to say, like, I have some spiders I'm looking at that moved in here. And I know that the fledgling birds that did survive the windstorm are kind of using the temple rafters as a place to practice flying. And that's such a beautiful thing for them to be able to have some safety while they're learning how to fly. And I'm so happy and overjoyed with seeing them able to do that. We're still doing our fundraising for the truck, for supplies, um, just to, keep everything going here. It's kind of like, an ongoing thing. We try to take breaks from fundraising for, months at a time. However, right now we're still kind of pushing hard to, like, be able to raise enough funds for, the rest of the year and things like that. We got some expenses coming up. Victor has two vet appointments. One is to get introduced to our new veterinarian here that Lucy and Bernard go to. And then second appointment is for his neuter. Really important for him to be able to get that, as will help um, him from getting any sort of like reproductive harm in the future. As a lot of you know, if you've been following our Facebook and um, our live streams, Amanda, my dear duck friend, passed away last week. She'll be greatly missed. She was a rescue from Reichardt. I carried her out as a little baby duck, and she survived, quite a number of years here at the temple. And she died very peacefully, kind of resting beneath a bush. So I was happy to see that. Our other duck friends are mourning their loss. Breve, Grave, and Renee are doing well, but grieving their sister. Our dog friends are all doing really well. Lucy, Bernard, and Victor. Like I said, Victor has an appointment next week, and then another one the week after. Our goat friends down the hill, Rob, Matt, and Phil, are doing really well. Our tortoise friend Miyachi's still doing really well. Slowed down a bit because of the rain, but with the sunny weather now, I saw him up and about this morning, so that's really good to see. Priya and Harriet are doing really well. I know Harriet was sick for a while, but she seems to have fully recovered. Eating really well again, getting out and about, enjoying the sun. So Harriet's doing really well. Our Cornish chickens, starting with our roosters, Jax, Jimmy, and Edward are all doing really well. And then our other Cornishes, Poppy, Aster, Ivy, Azalea, Peony, Cynthia, Lotus, Magnolia, Sage, Marigold, Camilla, Hydrangea, Holly, and Zinnia, all doing really well. And then, of course, our hen friends, Glennis, Gwen, Alice, Rebel, and Mariah are all doing really well. I mentioned before, Rebel's still on her own, still hasn't integrated. That still kind of continues. But she's very human affectionate, so I try to spend some time with Rebel and, show her some affection. Our rooster friends, the rest of our rooster friends, Sabrina, May, Hardone, Elton, Magnus, George, Brad, and Kudu are all doing really well. Our guinea fowl friend Wendy is doing well. The mourning dove in the house, Sequoia, is doing well. Hasu is doing really well, the house rat. Our pigeon friends are doing well. FP, Champagne, Tulin, Sasha, Yo-Yo, Petey, Ricky, Speckles, Spencer, Shambles, Beluga, Pee-wee, Beth, Augustus, Rufus, Harper, Elliot, Snickers, Boba, Kismet, Farah, Angus, Pandora, Jones, Sin, Lago, Fred, Tremonto, Halo, Vin, Capone, Percy, Pacino, Lacey, Dora, and Endora, all doing really well. Happy to report on that. And then of course, we have our 3 foster ducks all doing really well. So we're happy to report on that. Yeah, the new spider resident. I'm glad folks are happy to hear about our spider residents here inside my house and now inside the temple. So I love that they have a happy space to be. Chihuahua sounds awesome. Happy Chihuahuas. I'm not sure. Oh, Happy Chihuahua Acres in Northern California. So wonderful, Susan, that you're out there visiting with our Chihuahua friends. Um, oh, I love Chihuahuas. They're absolutely wonderful. Um, we used to have a couple. I had Jingda, for 20 years. Um, he was a phenomenal little Chihuahua guy. And then we had Missy at the end of her life up here too. She was a wonderful little Chihuahua. Oh, Susan has 10 rescue Chihuahuas. So they're at your sanctuary, is my guess. Sorry if I'm not following that right, but I'm so happy that you have 10 rescue Chihuahuas. I love Chihuahuas. They're wonderful little guys. I love little dogs. um, and it looks like Jackie also has a Chihuahua named Dexter, who's 14. Wow, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Just making sure I'm caught up on all the comments. So, now we'll get started with the recitation of the prayers, sutras, and vows toward your animal friends. As a reminder, these prayers are of great auspicious benefit to all that hear them. We ask that you have your companion animals nearby or in a place that wild animal friends can hear these prayers intended for them. Even our dear insect friends and spider friends. But we'll get started on page 4. of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer book with the recitation of the Great Heart of Wisdom Sutra in Japanese. Maka hanya haramita shingyo Kanji zai bosatsu gyojin hanya haramita jeso kengo ongai kodo isai kuyaku sharishi shiki fuku Warira Toshija Tomina Tomoni Butsudo Animal Liberation no Jozen Koto Iho Sanshi Foshi Son Bosa Foshi Son Bosa Mokosa Moko Hoja Horo We now recite the refuge prayer in Tibetan and then in English, page 8 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Sangye chodan tsuki chonam na janju parduk tekni gyepsu chi laki chinzo gyepe sonam ki drola penjer sangye juparsho. The Buddha, Dharma, and excellent assembly of the Sangha. Until I attain enlightenment, in these I take refuge. By my practice of the 6 perfections, may all sentient beings attain the state of Buddhahood. We now recite the 4 great Bodhisattva vows, Shigi Seigan. Shujo Muhen Seigando Bono Mujin Seigandan Homon Muryo Seigangak Botro Mujo Seigando. However numerous sentient beings, I vow to enlighten them all. However inexhaustible my delusions, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the dharmas, I vow to master them all. However endlessly enlightened way, I vow to follow it fully. We now recite the 6 vows to our dear animal friends, page 10. However numerous my dear animal friends, I vow to liberate them all. However diverse the methods of animal liberation, I vow to support them all. However unheard their voices, I vow to speak out for them all. However painful and inexhaustible the methods of suffering, I vow to bear witness to them all. However infinite the cages and tanks, I vow to empty them all. However difficult animal liberation, I vow to achieve it completely. We now recite the Vajrasattva Purification Mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Anupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopajista Tredome Bhava Sito Shome Bhava Sipa Shome Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Sita Me Prayata Sarva Karma Sita Me Titam Shriyam Guruhum Aha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sava Tathagata Vajrama Me Mucha Vajri Bhava Mahasamamya Safaha. Seeing how this week is long with many weeks here, I'm speaking to a lot of my activist friends, a lot of my animal caretaking friends, and mainly just, people with a deep connection to animals, to our dear animal friends, and people who, are actively, working towards animal liberation in their own way. And maybe even if you're not, and you're tuning in, and this, I'm sure you can find how this applies to your own life. Often I'm asked about, how do I deal with, all of the problems in the world, the immense amount of suffering inflicted on our dear animal friends, and how that kind of degrades degrades ourselves, and it kind of tears at our hearts. And last week I talked about leaning into that feeling, and then I do think that there should be a method of trying to deal with it, and what advice I would give to someone who's feeling like this constantly. And I've given this advice before, and the first thing I would tell people, and this may not be possible, and this is why I want to talk about this week. My first bit of advice is to take care of yourself, to enjoy the moments of happiness as they enter your life. And I think this is different than seeking out, the seeking out your own happiness. I think it's a little bit different. And when I say seeking out your own happiness, I mean mostly the pursuit of, like material goods, or even the pursuit of wanting to be close to, a particular person or a particular animal, or a particular situation that you think will make you happy, and so you chase after that incessantly. And that may not bring you the happiness that you're looking for, because of that happiness being rooted in attachment. So if that, that's not exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that when the moment is presented to you, like when you're able to be close to that special person, that you fully embrace that moment in time, that when you have the opportunity to eat a good meal, you eat a good meal and enjoy it in that moment. When you have the opportunity to, take that vacation because everything is lining up, like to take that vacation, to find those moments in time that make you happy and embrace them. And I think this is really important. I've given that advice before. But then sometimes the retort is like, what if those moments don't present themselves? What if, I live day to day, very difficult, confronted by horrible animal abuse, confronted by, the turmoil that is happening on our planet, and I feel overwhelmed with just that, and there seems to be no happiness that I can grasp onto in the moment. And I feel many of you experience this from time to time, and I have another piece of advice when you are unable to reach into that. And my advice here is to turn into your service. I talk every week. I mentioned the first thing I say, is welcome to the Animal Liberation Temple, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends. And so for me, when I am unable to magnetize the that particular happy moment that I need in this world, when the opportunities aren't arriving for me to embrace those happy moments, then and it seems like the world is getting darker and more destructive and closing in on me, when life gets really hard, right? And so that's what I'm speaking of today. When life gets really hard for you, to turn to your service, to lean into the service of your being. What is it that is your calling? For the temple, for me, it's service of non-human animals, the spiritual and physical liberation of them. Maybe for you it looks a little bit different, but what is that? What is it that you are called to be of service to? And whatever that is, lean into that service. And I say that because, the people who are tuning into this live stream are those people who are deeply committed to our non-human animal friends, and are deeply committed to all sentient beings, and deeply committed to, relieving the suffering of others, and that is its own service. And so, how does that service magnetize in your life? What is it that you are doing to be of service, and lean into that? And maybe all it is taking care of your non-human animal friends at home. Maybe all it is um, taking care of an ailing parent, or maybe all it is taking care of your children, and maybe that is your service. And so when I say, when the world gets dark, when it turns in on you, lean into that service, because at its heart, it's who you are. That is. That is what makes you great. That is what makes me so happy to know so many of you, is at your root, that is who you are, is your service. So, my advice to you folks who experience the world crumbling around you, the immense suffering our non-human animals are exposed to lean into your service. For me, it's the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our non-human animal friends. And maybe yours is similar to mine, or maybe the words are just a little bit different. But whatever that is, whatever your service is, lean into it. And this is advice not because it's going to fix your sadness. It's not going to make you happy per se. But it is leaning into your authentic self. It is leaning into who you really are. And I think that that advice is always good advice. And it's advice and not a fix to the world's problems. But it is what one should do when they're feeling this way, is and especially when they can't seem to grasp any sort of momentary happiness, or those circumstances aren't materializing in your life, then turn to your service and lean into your service. Yeah. Just reading the comments, April mentioned enjoying the moment versus seeking it out. Yeah, I think that's really important, right? Like I mentioned, there's a difference between, seeking out your own happiness versus enjoying the moments that just happen to you. I think that it is important to see that distinction. Uh, Challenges are learning opportunities. Always look for a silver lining, no matter what. Jackie commented that. Yeah, like, so viewing challenges as actual learning opportunities. Yeah, we often Buddhism, we say, like obstacles are actually stepping stones towards your enlightenment. Obstacles are actually the rungs of a ladder that reach you, uh, that you're able to pull yourself up over, and to the next level on it, towards your goal. So we see, you know challenges are absolutely opportunities, and always looking for a silver lining no matter what. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to look into. Just checking my comments on both platforms. I'm so happy to see YouTube having more comments than my Facebook, and maybe because I don't know. It says condensed view. I hope it's not. I don't like. I don't understand Facebook as well, but I'm so happy to see that people are commenting on both platforms. That really is helpful. So that's my talk for today. I know it was kind of short. If people have more questions about that, or how I can clarify that better, please reach out to me. I'm there for you. I'm of service to our non-human animal friends, and that means also being a service to those who are service to them. So I know many of you who are of service to our dear animal friends, and so therefore I am of service to you as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any sort of clarification or, just questions or, need someone to talk to. I'm there for you folks. But we're going to conclude today's service with the recitation of the Animal Liberation Prayer, as well as the dedication of merit. I still don't have my second camera working. It's a matter of funds. And if you also notice, I haven't shaved in a long time. And that's because my razor is completely broken. And it is not on the highest of list to buy, but I do have a hair cutting vow that I need to maintain. So I need to figure out how to overcome that challenge as well. But just to explain what's going on, I will see if the dogs want to come in here and visit with folks before we end today's service. So we'll recite the Animal Liberation Prayer, page 12, 13, and 14. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are subject to unbearable pain in labs throughout the world, be free of all suffering. May alternatives to animal experimentation, vivisection, and dissection be implemented immediately. May bodhicitta, the quality of compassion that leads to enlightenment, fill the hearts of those who imprison them. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who suffer endless days, months, and years, locked in tiny cages unable to move, be filled with peace and calm. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends, who are forcibly taken from their families, be reunited, and may all families be able to stay together. May the hearts of those who work in slaughterhouses, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends be filled with bodhicitta, so the very thought of harm is purified. May they never kill again, and may the slaughterhouse lines, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends become immediately empty. May no animal be afraid or depressed. May their bodies be free of injuries, disease, and illness. May the mutilation of their bodies be ever ceased. May those who need homes or are driven from them find shelter, plentiful food, and water. May there be liberation for those tortured for fur, entertainment, or who are hunted. May those who believe that they are superior to our brother and sister animals develop perfect equanimity, and may they realize in their hearts that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, the potential to be completely free of suffering, and that they are not ours to kill or exploit. May the billions of land and sea-dwelling sentient beings who are abused, exploited, and killed due to greed, hatred, and ignorance be free of suffering. May all the nets, hooks, blades, projectiles, traps, snares, cages, pens, tanks, lethal restraints, saddles, reins, prods, bait, poison, and all instruments used to harm, exploit, and dominate our dear animal friends be forever abolished. May all human and non-human sentient beings live together in harmony, peace, equanimity, and achieve perfect enlightenment quickly. May we all experience happiness, safety, freedom, and animal liberation in this very lifetime. We now recite the dedication of merit, page 16 and 17. Throughout our many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue we have accomplished, including this aspiration for peace, and all that we will ever attain, this we offer for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends. May suffering, exploitation, and unnecessary death be decreased for every being, while wisdom, bliss, and compassion increase in this and every future life. May we clearly and instantly perceive the plight of our dear animal friends with the urgency and seriousness they deserve, and our every action leads them to complete liberation. May we quickly attain enlightenment and work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Also, stay with me for my credits, and then I will see if the dogs want to come in and say hello to everybody. Thank you all to the wonderful folks who have contributed to our dear animal residents of the Animal Liberation Temple from the 24th to the 30th of May. And thank you to everyone who has been liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing on our social media. Our Venmo donors, Tani Salazar and Remy Marine X, thank you so much. And our PayPal donor, Lama Tachiniama, thank you so much. And then our Patreon supporters, Susan Fryman, Neil Carmen, Palomina Bradford, Paula Partenheimer, Shannon Hunter, and MV. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to donate through any of our platforms, can be found at our Linktree, Animal Liberation Temple. And thank you all for joining us for our dear animal friends. Everybody have a beautiful week. And I will see if the dogs want to come in and join us here. Oh, sorry, that sound just like abruptly stopped. Does anybody want to come in? Bernard, Lucy, Victor? Anybody? You want to come in? Bernard, come here. Bernie. Bernard. I hear them. There's Victor. Hi, Victor. Do not. I know you want to jump on the desk, on the coffee, and make a problem. Oh, you're so cute. And there's my little Bernie. Hi, Bernard. And here comes Lucy. Hi, Lucy. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi to everybody? Everybody loves Lucy. Yeah, so our 3 pups doing really well. So I'm so glad everybody got to see them. Thank you everybody for commenting. Especially thank you for commenting about Lucy, Bernard, and Victor. That, warms my heart. I hope my Facebook's still working. I'm not seeing any more comments on Facebook, and who knows? I don't pretend to know how Facebook works anymore. It says only have 3 viewers on Facebook, which is totally fine. And 8 on YouTube, which is phenomenal. So thank you folks for tuning in live and commenting. That really helps our algorithm. And then if folks watch it throughout the week, that really helps as well. Thank you all so much, and everybody have a wonderful week. And don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Thank you all so much.